A revolutionary. Say whoa. Trap revolutionary. Got the wave it too scary. Doing this thing like Malcolm ain't by any means necessary. We ain't got it by no one seen hand. We got the master plan. Get the movement going on. Right here where we stand, man. We bucking and stumping, fist pumping. Even though they tried to set us up for failure and kill us, we keep on coming. That's why somebody gotta step up and say something about the bullshit. Because if not, the blind gon' keep leaving.
What's going on, y'all? I want to do this video about shadow work. It's something I was thinking about it today. Well, a few days ago, actually, about doing the inner work, on yourself, to just get past certain inner feelings, inner anger, just all type of different feelings. You may have feelings, hidden feelings you don't really realize where they're coming from or whatever, right? And I think it's like necessary to do that work because, and even I literally just read something how like we could be people that we want attention, but we end up putting a wall up because we don't want to, end up being rejected. We really want attention, but end up might be rejected or something in some form or fashion, So that's something, I'm just thinking that I think is very, it's important, that we do, that way, we can deal with ourselves better and also deal with people better. So, I just think that's something that, something that I think has to be understood. And even when we're going through certain issues, certain, even like, for instance, like breakups, it's some things that sometimes, instead of moving, right along to the next person, I think it's like good to take some time, to yourself and kind of figure out, what was going on with you that probably made you, probably made things not work, So that's just something that, I was thinking about, and I just wanted to do a video about real quick. My light go out again. I don't know. I'm just have to leave it off. But yeah, just something I was thinking about real quick. I just want to, mention because I just think it's, and I think it'll prepare your spirit. I think it'll prepare our spirit for, our next journey or our next experience, relationship, whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying? And to be positive, make it, where it's a positive experience, because we've done the work and to be able to deal with, other people more effectively, and just efficiently, I guess, just better, in a better way. So and that's just something I was just thinking about. I think that we have to we just have to take into consideration. We take that in consideration, and I think that it will help us. Actually, it will help us a lot if we if we did that. You know what I'm saying? So, just consider that. Let me put this light on. Yeah, just consider that. In trying to just be a better person. That's what I say. You know what I'm saying? Just in trying to be a better person. Just consider that. I also somehow I want to mention about this thing is kind of flickering, but y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get this my light, one of my lights went out, so I'm just trying to use this other one. But anyway, I think doing the inner work will help us, like I said, deal with other people better, help us deal with ourselves better, and just be able to live a better life, just the emotional, part of life, living that better and being able to deal with our, whatever fears we may have, deal with anger, probably anger issues, dealing with that, passive aggression, aggressiveness, dealing with that, um, you know, and also being authentic, being our authentic selves. Cause it was crazy that, today just happened to, man, see something about Pac, man, and dang, it kind of hurt me, man, cause I ain't gonna lie, when Pac was rapping, I really didn't like him. I was like, man, this dude was fake. He fake. He screaming that thug life and like hard and all that. But I was like, man, this he ain't no real street dude, right? But and to come to find out, in that sense, he really wasn't. You know what I mean? They actually uncovered some stuff. Just so happened, his murder investigation, a judge ordered his garage to be opened, and so they go in the detectives that thing go in the garage and find out this man got he got literally books, binders, and folders of information where he's trying to make a transition from the music industry, like the thug life, to where he's going to be like doing films. You know what I mean? Like, and helping younger, or also having he actually was starting Machiavelli Records, where he started his own record label. Was he's going to have younger artists and trying to help them, get on and do music. So and I had heard about it after he had died. Like, the brother was really gifted, like poetry and stuff like that. He was very intelligent. Didn't really know the backstory that like his mother, Sada Shakur, was with the Panthers. I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? Sada Shakur, she was, part of the Black Panthers. He was, kind of raised up in that, but not, did not, I guess per se, but be up, as he's saying, like claiming, like I'm a Black Panther, whatever, or be a Black Panther, but he was very intelligent in that sense. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, the song he had, do you want to ride or die? La 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 la. Come with me, Hail Mary. That song, Run Quick See, Hail Mary, do you want to ride or die? La 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 la. That song right there was actually ride or die. Was one of the things the Black Panthers would say. It's we riding or dying. We gonna crack down on these laws. You know what I'm saying? Running up in our communities like this. And coming up here, thinking they just gonna come in here and terrorize us, without repercussions behind it. So yeah, man, I didn't know that, until, like I said, after he had passed. Like, he was really gifted. He was really trying to do something significant, and get away from the thug life, the image he created, and do something positive. Create another life after that. You know what I mean? Because he was trying to get away from that. Didn't even know that. And I was like, dang, man, the brother was very prolific, and ended up dying. I had all this stuff all written down. Man, the brother was talking about either going to Ghana or he was trying to go to Ghana, Jamaica. It was somewhere he was trying to go. He's like, I'm leaving, and it's gonna be either Ghana or somewhere, I believe Jamaica or something like that. But he was like, and he was giving to certain organizations, certain youth organizations, sending a $50,000 check to I believe organization, a illiteracy organization, I believe it may have been in Watts. It's something to do with literacy and trying to help people with their literacy and everything like that, a literacy campaign. So the brother was prolific, man. It hurt because and that's what I kind of relate to, man, being your authentic self, man. Like dang, Pac, man, I just wish you bro, I wish you didn't present, I guess, but they was even talking about how, and I even, like I said, even in speaking on that, a video I saw before that, it was talking about just that, how the rappers of the day are pretty much, they're following everybody else. They're not putting out the content that's going to change lives, change minds and the spirits of the people, and where it'll be something positive, where the youth can see something positive and actually, want to be something and do something positive. You know what I mean? It's literally like the money's being made because of the music and the way rappers are portraying themselves to be, you know, a certain way, you know, not to be intelligent and doing something positive, you know, in the community or uplifting the community. You know, it's all about, you know, just, you know, being a certain level of status, or I have a certain amount of money and material things, you know, which is pushed on the culture instead of something where it's, hey, I am helping, I'm doing something for the community, I am moving the culture forward, you know, to where we're getting away from the negativity or the violence, you know, amongst each other, you know. And I know people, you know, that, you know, think that, and they say that, hey, I need to get on, and I'm just going to talk about, you know, something that I think that will help me get on, instead of like, I'm going to be my authentic self, regardless of anything everybody else is talking about. I'm gonna talk about what I know to be true to me, you know, what's authentic to me, you know what I mean? So,
Did Ice Cube give away the whole game?
Who benefits and profits off our bickering in our division? You know, it's like follow the money. I don't know their names, Bill, but if you follow the money, you go high enough, you start to see same people who own the labels own the prisons.
Literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Certain flavors are exposed on the record.
And that means one thing. If you want to become the biggest rapper today, you have to get in line with the record executives, get into bed with some very greedy characters in closed rooms, and then sell out to become an empty vehicle for their approved message to young black men. That's because those elites know real profit lies in chaos and collapse. And they're more than willing to profit off the controlled demolition of the culture while they can. I remember even Tupac was asked this question over 30 years ago.
Critics say, yeah, but you're being pimped. You're being pimped by the record executives who will allow you to do your thug life because it portrays a certain black.
It's like, it's not that you get pimped, it's how long you get pimped. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really look at this situation, it is not I who's being pimped. From not pushing the thugness, but I know from the business that everybody in this business is always whispering in your ear about what you can't say, what you can't do, what you can't wear in this world and in this world. It's two worlds, a white world and a black world. All I did was stand in the middle. I'm living in both worlds. Everybody's getting pimped. Whether you work a 9 to 5 or whether you work for yourself, you're getting pimped by somebody. That's not the crime. The crime is how long you allow yourself to get pimped. You have to come up. Everything is a come up. Everything is a struggle. You start from the bottom, work it to the top.
But the problem is that anti-establishment messaging in rap has been weeded out now, as more and more artists just sell out to the big labels and cash the big checks. They don't even care that they've betrayed the streets and the people they actually came from, because they know they never need to go back to them. And that's why I say it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. A whole new generation is raised with a rap culture that's nothing like the masculine and rebellious war cry decades ago. Instead, it's a bunch of talentless puppets reading pre-approved lyrics while serving the same system that their fathers fought against. But there's something much darker that Tupac revealed about that world in the final interview of his life.
Now investigators of Valley Homes searched in connection to the Tupac Shakur murder investigation nearly 27 years after his death.
The cops weren't ready for what they found in Tupac's garage. When investigators finally forced open that locked door in February 1997, 5 months after his murder, they expected to find expensive cars and maybe some recording equipment. What they actually discovered sitting in that sealed garage would completely change how the world understood Tupac Shakur, and more importantly, it revealed plans he'd been hiding from everyone, including the people closest to him.
Metro Police confirming they searched a home as part of their ongoing work to solve who killed the rapper and hip-hop icon.
The garage had been off limits since September 1996, trapped in legal limbo while Death Row Records, his family, and various attorneys fought over who controlled what. A judge finally ordered it open for inventory purposes, and when Detective Marcus Hendricks walked in with his team, he immediately knew something was different. This wasn't a storage space for a flashy celebrity lifestyle. The walls had soundproofing, Heavy-duty shelving covered both sides, and everything was organized with labels and dates like someone running a serious operation. And what sat on that main workbench would blow apart everything people thought they knew about Tupac's final months.
Sources telling Bay News Now investigators this search involves Dwayne Davis, also known as Keith D. Davis speaking publicly about the night Tupac died in videos on YouTube and in a book.
3 thick black binders dominated the workspace, each one stuffed with hundreds of pages. The first binder contained movie scripts, but not scripts Tupac was hired to act in. These were films he planned to direct himself. Detailed production schedules, budget breakdowns, casting notes written in his own handwriting, all of it showed he'd been studying the film industry like he was preparing for a completely different career. One script called Thug Angels told a story about gang intervention programs, and attached to it were actual proposals for partnering with real nonprofits and holding community screenings where ticket money would go straight back to youth programs in rough neighborhoods.
25-year-old Tupac Shakur shot 4 times inside this BMW in this intersection near the Las Vegas Strip in September 1996. He would die from his injuries 6 days later.
The second binder hit even harder. Page after page of financial records showed where Tupac's money was really going, and it wasn't on jewelry and parties like everyone assumed. Bank statements revealed monthly payments to bail funds for young people locked up on minor charges. Receipts showed he'd covered legal fees for families who couldn't afford lawyers. Wire transfer confirmations proved he donated to literacy programs, mentorship organizations, and community centers all across California, and none of it was public. No press releases, no interviews where he bragged about it, just quiet help for people who needed it. One check for $50,000 went to a Watts literacy program just 3 days before he flew to Las Vegas. But the third binder contained evidence of something that would have completely changed hip-hop history if Tupac had lived long enough to pull it off.
Vanessa Murphy speaking exclusively with paramedics in 2016.
We brought the gurney up,
over,
just pulled him out.
Pulled him out, and that's when, everybody was yelling, Tupac.
Legal paperwork showed Tupac was building his own record label, totally separate from Death Row. Corporate documents dated August 1996 proved he'd already registered the name Machiavelli Records, filed for trademark protection, and started talks with distributors who could move his albums without Suge Knight being involved at all. Business plans laid out how he wanted to sign young artists and mentor them, build a full production house with his own engineers and video directors, and create something that would last beyond just his own music. The evidence was clear. Tupac was planning his exit from Death Row, and he was setting up everything he needed to do it on his own terms.
But he's happy it's happening, and he says he hopes it'll bring some more closure to the case.
I didn't think there'd ever be any more steps taken in this case.
The cops kept digging through the garage, and that's when they found the lockbox. It sat behind the filing cabinets, steel and code locked. And after Afeni Shakur's lawyer gave them the combination, they opened it to find a stack of mini DV tapes. Each tape had a date written on it in marker, ranging from July to early September 1996. When detectives played them back at the police station, they saw Tupac sitting alone, talking directly into a camera like he was keeping a video diary. And what he said on those tapes would haunt everyone who watched them, because Tupac knew something bad was coming.
It's 27 years old. I can tell you exactly why it happened. It's happened because of Keith D running his mouth.
The video entry showed a completely different person than the aggressive figure in music videos. Tupac talked about being exhausted, feeling trapped by his own image, and knowing that the life he was living couldn't continue much longer. He discussed wanting to move to Ghana and make films about Black history without Hollywood's filters. He mentioned plans to write a book about political change and activism, something young people could actually use. In one video from September 3rd, just 4 days before he got shot, Tupac said he felt like he was living on borrowed time, not because of enemies or beef with other rappers, but because everything was moving too fast and he was losing control. Those tapes proved Tupac was trying to figure out how to escape the persona he'd created. He'd built this image of the fearless thug who didn't care about consequences, but privately, he was mapping out a future that looked nothing like that. The contrast was shocking, and investigators realized they were watching someone who desperately wanted out, but hadn't figured out how to leave without destroying everything he'd worked for. Then they saw the BMW sitting on the hydraulic lift in the back, and everything suddenly made terrifying sense.
Probably didn't really know it was going to have any historical significance. At that point, it was fixed and then sold to the general public, probably at an auction, something like that.
The car was a black BMW 750iL, the exact same model Tupac had been riding in when he got shot in Las Vegas. But this one was pristine, never driven, and registration documents showed he'd bought it 3 weeks before his death. The keys were in the workbench drawer with a handwritten note that said, "Exit plan, New York or Ghana, decide by October." Investigators opened the trunk and found 2 large duffel bags packed with items that made their blood run cold. Inside those bags were passports, one real and one that looked fake with a different name on it. $80,000 in cash, vacuum sealed in plastic bags, international phone cards, a handwritten list of contacts in Jamaica, Cuba, and several African countries. More financial documents showed Tupac had been quietly converting his assets to cash and moving money into offshore accounts that death row couldn't touch. Every piece of evidence pointed to the same conclusion: Tupac Shakur was preparing to disappear, and this BMW was supposed to be the getaway car. But what investigators found under the driver's seat would raise questions that still don't have answers, even today.
But recently, Keefe D has written a book and made TV appearances detailing his involvement in Tupac's death.
A small leather journal contained entries from the week before the shooting. Tupac wrote about feeling watched, convinced someone was tracking his movements and monitoring what he was planning. He mentioned worries about death row's criminal connections and a growing fear that he'd become a liability to dangerous people. The entry from September 5th, 2 days before he died, talked about how he tried to cancel the Las Vegas trip multiple times but felt pressured to go anyway, even though his gut told him to stay away. The final entry was dated the morning of September 7th, 1996, the day he was shot. One sentence written in Tupac's handwriting: "If tonight goes wrong, the BMW knows where to take them. Keys under the seat, package in the trunk. Tell mom I tried." That single line suggested Tupac had arranged for someone else to use that BMW if something happened to him, possibly to get his mother and family out of danger. But whoever that person was never came forward after the shooting, and the car just sat in police evidence storage for years.
Bragging that he's the one who handed Orlando Anderson a gun, and subsequently that gun is used to shoot Tupac.
The garage discovery changed everything about how people understood Tupac's final days. He wasn't just living recklessly and waiting for something bad to happen. He was actively planning an escape, building a new business, preparing for a completely different life, and trying to protect the people he loved if it all fell apart. The binders full of business plans, the video diaries, the secret BMW with cash and fake passports, none of it matched the public image of the fearless rapper who courted danger. So what does all of this really mean, and why did Tupac feel like he needed an escape plan in the first place? The evidence suggests Tupac was caught between two worlds. He'd created this larger-than-life persona that made him famous and kept him relevant, but that same persona was destroying him. The death row lifestyle, the conflicts, the constant pressure to be the hardest and most fearless, it was all becoming too much. He wanted to transform into something different, someone who made films and helped communities and built lasting institutions, but he didn't know how to make that shift without losing everything.
So he's openly saying that he's, a significant part of this whole murder. How many times are you going to go on TV and say that before somebody's going to have to take some sort of action?
The philanthropic work he'd been doing in secret proved he cared deeply about lifting people up, even while his music and public image suggested otherwise. The record label plan showed he understood the business well enough to build something independent. The video diaries revealed someone who was self-aware and thoughtful, not the reckless thug the media portrayed. And that BMW with the escape plan showed he knew the danger was real and escalating. When investigators closed their report on the garage contents, they noted that Tupac Shakur's death wasn't just the loss of a talented artist. It was the destruction of a carefully planned transformation that could have changed hip-hop completely. All those binders and tapes in that secret BMW, They weren't just possessions. They were evidence of a future that never happened, a second act that got erased on a Las Vegas street 5 months before anyone even knew he was planning it.
If they can match them up and say, wow, these are the same type of rounds that are in Tupac, obviously that kicks things up considerably. Will that happen? I think probably not 26 years later, but certainly it's something that they're going to have to take a look at.
The garage kept Tupac's secret safe until it was too late to matter. And now, looking back at everything the cops found in there, you have to wonder what hip-hop would look like today if Tupac had made it to October, if he'd executed that exit plan, if he'd driven that BMW to the airport and disappeared to Ghana like he'd written about. The world lost more than just a rapper that night in 1996. It lost all the possibilities that were packed into those duffel bags and written in those binders, locked away in a garage nobody was supposed to see.
And you know what I'm saying? I'm really hurt, man. Like just seeing it. And I guess my spirit sense that Pac was not, he was, and I want to say this in the right way so nobody don't take this wrong. He was not being who he truly was, that intelligent, wise Pac. You know, the one that knew, you know, like we're talking about the ride or die, he knew what that meant. You know what I mean? You know, like he wanted to go to Ghana and thinking about that, like telling us about Africa and like, hey man, connect with your brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, in the motherland. Like, we didn't get that Pac, man, and it's a tragedy, man. It hurt. And I know, you know, I know people probably think like, man, well, you hurt behind it? Yeah, because I'm young during that era, man, and we could have seen, all of us, you know, could have actually, man, benefited from that. If that brother would have brought that out and the, you know, to been that Pac, that his authentic self, intelligent, you know what I'm saying, the poet, the wise, you know what I'm saying, knowing about Africa, knowing about the Black Panther Party, you know what I'm saying? That could have helped us, you know what I'm saying, instead of like suppressing that. And that's what it even talking about, the shadow work. You suppressing part of yourself, man, the authentic part of yourself to be approved by society. You know, and in the music industry and what they talking about, you know, it's really demonic. You know what I'm saying? We trying to be approved by it, man. And like, bro, don't never, man, sacrifice your God self, man, for the evil of this world. You know what I'm saying? Or the tainted aspect of this world. You know what I'm saying? Like, we rocking with God, man, regardless. We're not rocking with the devil. You know what I'm saying? You can keep your money, you can keep your riches, you can keep the material thing, all of that, you can keep it. You know what I'm saying? We rocking with God. And it don't matter how long we take to get there, to get whatever we gonna get, we'll get it in due time. You know what I'm saying? Like, as I said in the video before, in another day's time, man, we'll get it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no use, because you got some people out here clowning, getting on the internet, you know, acting like a plum fool because they want attention. They feel like that's but they not being their authentic self. Be your authentic self, and you will be blessed behind it. You know what I'm saying? So, damn, Pac, man, I wish you still here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Biggie, you know what I'm saying? Biggie, he met his demise though. Like, I can't say, you know, because I really think with Diddy, that whole situation had, you know, that ended up causing Big's demise, man. You know, he was rocking with somebody that did not have his best interests at heart. You know what I'm saying? That's a demonic trait. You know, being selfish, you know, and just all about you, to where it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? You'll cost somebody their lives just to be able to get on top and get what you trying to get. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I say on that, because I'm not going to, you know, say nobody he did it and had somebody to do it. I'm not going to say that, but I think I'm going to just say that in that situation, I think Big just was around somebody that did not have his best interests at heart, and it cost him his life. You know what I'm saying? Pac, he wasn't being his authentic self, and it cost him his life. You know what I'm saying? So it pays, like I'm going to say again, I said before, to do the shadow work, be your authentic self. It don't matter what the world is projecting on you. You know what I'm saying? I think that's how a lot of us feel. A lot of us that, you know what I'm saying, and got in trouble early on in our lives, you know what I'm saying, because we were following somebody else, trying to be, you know, like somebody else, we thought that was cool instead of being our authentic self. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying this to, you know, and to us as older people, the older generation, forgive yourself, man, for you may have fell into that trap. You know what I'm saying? You weren't being your authentic self and didn't know how to be your authentic self. You know what I'm saying? To the younger people that's coming up now, you know what I'm saying? Just always remember that, man. Be who you are. You know what I'm saying? God bless you to be you and who you are. You know what I'm saying? Don't hide your gifts. None that you have. You intelligent. Don't hide that. You know what I mean? So you got a gift of writing, poetry, paint, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Don't hide that. You know what I'm saying? Bring that to the world because we could benefit from that. Just like I was talking about Pac, man. We could have got the intelligent Pac, you know, the wise Pac. You know what I'm saying? The Pac that wanted to go to Africa. We could have got that, man. A lot of our lives would have been different. You know what I'm saying? People will get on her and say, which we done seen, you know, certain rappers get on her, whoa, well, you know, I ain't no influence, music don't influence nobody. Come on, man, I'ma say it again. The music has a definite influence on you in your mind because it affects you, your mind, and your spirit. You know what I mean? The decibels of it, the music, the drum, and we know, you know what I'm saying, in our culture, and especially in our culture, that African drum. We hear that drum and that rhythm hits us, that African spirit that we have in us. It's an influence. We just start getting the moving. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we gotta come out of that talking about the music don't have influence. Yeah, it has influence. You know what I'm saying? Cause shit, you know, all of the thug life and the ghetto boys, the NWAs, like all that, man, that influenced us, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to be real about that. You know what I'm saying? Influenced a lot of us in the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Some of us, droves of us went to prison, and a number of us went to the grave. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, we had to be real about it, man, and talk about it, man. Like I said, I want to get on here, man, because like I said, my heart go out to Pac, still go out to that brother, man, like big, man, like damn, man, we lost some prolific brothers, man, and you know, just hate that happened, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's just a result of that, you know what I'm saying? Not being influenced the wrong way, man, and you know, was not just able to be, you know, their authentic selves, man. I just put it like that, man. So, you know, I'm just be, you know, short on this video. I just think that we have to, you know, get better, you know, as a community, as a culture, man, and not follow nobody, not follow no crowd because we're afraid to be who we truly are, you know. So, damn, man, I said my heart go out to them, man. Pac, man. Bro, I wish we could have seen that part of you, man, like for real. You know what I mean? And I know the investigators, I'm pretty sure they turned all that information over to the FBI because they were like, shit, this man could have started a whole change, you know what I'm saying, in the black community, you know, possibly uplifting the black community, you know what I mean? In that sense, you know, so, you know, that information probably never be revealed. Because the brother was talking about films, Thug Angel, and all type of him casting him, you know, being in a movie. I think he directing films and all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'll probably put a clip in this video to kind of show, you know, about that. You know what I'm saying? Also about, you know, I was talking about the rappers just following the crowd, man, and not, you know, not bringing any you know, music to the forefront to have a positive impact on the culture. You know what I mean? And even Ice Cube, he mentioned the fact that it's by design. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to see a positive impact because it contributes to the young black men going to prison. And the people that own the music industry, they have interest in stock. They actually own, you know what I'm saying? The people that own the music industries, they have ownership in prisons, private prisons. You know, so but yeah, man, I just want to get on here and say that, man, cause hey, man, I thought about that, like the shadow work. Do that. Do it within yourself, you know, get better, you know, be your authentic self, work on that, you know, that part of you, you know, that shadow that needs to be brought out to the light, you know, that authentic part of you, you know what I mean? And if anything negative, you know what I'm saying, work on that too. You know what I'm saying? Do better, try to be better in that sense, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna get up out of her. I just want to say that, you know what I mean. Hard go out to Pac, you know, Big, and even other brothers that lost their life, man, because of the, you know, the things that they probably thought were, you know, at the time they probably thought was cool, you know, or led to believe that was cool, that was okay, that was how to be, you know what I mean? And they end up losing their life, you know, losing their lives, you know. But anyway, you know, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I just want to say that, you know, to people out there, man, I hope y'all doing well, you know, living life, you know, being happy, full of love, man, just doing great. But anyway, till the next time, get up out of here. Till the next one, y'all. Love y'all. All right, y'all.
Fuck it, go ahead and blow off the dope. Step through the maze, man, and became amazing. About to rewrite history and change the page in a crooked book that never told us the true story. Like how we were kings and queens before the slave story, before the killing, stealing, and drug dealing on some real shit. We ran the world.